Imagine you're an archaeologist in the 1960s digging in the Turkish countryside. You're not expecting much, maybe some pottery shards, maybe an old foundation. But then your shovel hits something. Stone. You keep digging and digging. And what you uncover changes everything we thought we knew about human history. Because buried beneath your feet isn't just a building. It's an entire city, a massive, sophisticated underground city that could house 20,000 people. And here's the thing that doesn't make sense. This city wasn't destroyed by war. It wasn't abandoned because of famine or plague. This city wasn't destroyed. It was hidden. Someone thousands of years ago made the deliberate choice to bury an entire civilization beneath the earth. They carved it into solid rock, creating a labyrinth of tunnels, rooms, and chambers that stretched 11 levels deep. And then they sealed it off and disappeared. Why would anyone do that? What were they hiding from? And how did they pull off one of the most ambitious engineering projects in ancient history? Today, we re-exploring Derinkuyu, the ancient underground city in Turkey that was intentionally buried and forgotten for over 1,000 years. A place so mysterious, so massive, that even now we're still uncovering its secrets. Let's go underground. Part 1. The Discovery. The year is 1963. A man in the Cappadocia region of Turkey is renovating his house. He's knocking down a wall in his basement when he discovers something odd. A hidden room behind the wall. It's a tunnel, and the tunnel leads to another room, and another, and another. He's stumbled onto something massive. He reports it to local authorities, and archaeologists rush to the site. And what they discover is mind-blowing. This isn't just a basement. It's the entrance to an enormous underground city called Derinkuyu, which literally means deep well in Turkish. And it goes down 11 stories beneath the surface, carved entirely out of soft volcanic rock. Now, let me give you some perspective on just how big this place is. Derinkuyu covers roughly 445,000 square feet. That's about 8 football fields. Underground. It has ventilation shafts, wells for fresh water, storage rooms, kitchens, wineries, chapels, schools, and even stables for livestock. At its peak, it could shelter up to 20,000 people. And they could stay down there for months without ever coming to the surface. This wasn't some hastily dug hideout. This was a fully functional subterranean city, complete with all the infrastructure needed to support a large population. And here's the kicker. Derinkuyu isn't unique. Archaeologists have found over 200 underground cities in the Cappadocia region. Some are smaller, some are larger, and many are connected by miles of tunnels. But Derinkuyu is the deepest and most complex. So who built it? And why? The theories. Figuring out who built Derinkuyu is tricky because there are no written records, texts that say, "Hey, we built this underground city, and here's why." But historians have pieced together some theories based on the architecture, the artifacts, and the history of the region. Theory 1. The Hittites built it. The Hittites were an ancient civilization that dominated the region around 1200 BCE. They were master builders and engineers, known for constructing elaborate fortifications and cities. Some researchers believe the Hittites carved out the initial chambers of Derinkuyu as a way to escape the extreme heat of summer. The underground temperature stays around 55 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, making it a natural air-conditioned refuge. But here's the problem with this theory. The Hittite Empire collapsed around 1200 BCE, and Derinkuyu shows signs of being used for centuries after that. So even if the Hittites started it, they definitely weren't the only ones using it. Theory 2. Early Christians expanded it by the time Christianity spread through the region in the early centuries CE. Cappadocia had become a hotspot for persecution. Christians were being hunted by the Roman Empire and later by Arab raiders during the Byzantine period. And this is where Derinkuyu really makes sense. The underground city has features that suggest it was used as a refuge during times of attack. There are massive stone doors, some weighing over 1,000 pounds, that could be rolled into place to seal off entire sections. These doors could only be opened from the inside, making it nearly impossible for invaders to break through. There are also narrow, winding tunnels designed to slow down attackers. And perhaps most telling, Derinkuyu has several chapels and religious spaces carved into the rock, complete with altars and cross-shaped layouts. This strongly suggests that early Christians used and possibly expanded the city as a hiding place. Theory 3. It was built over thousands of years. The most likely scenario is that Derinkuyu was not built by one civilization, but by many over the course of thousands of years. The Hittites may have started it. The Phrygians may have expanded it. The Christians may have perfected it. Each generation added new rooms, new tunnels, and new features. It was a constantly evolving project, shaped by the needs of whoever was using it at the time. And that makes it even more impressive, because it means Derinkuyu represents thousands of years of human ingenuity, adaptation, and survival. But let's talk about the how, because building an underground city is no small feat. First, you need the right kind of rock, and luckily, Cappadocia has it. The region is covered in soft volcanic tuff, a type of rock formed from volcanic ash. It's soft enough to carve with simple hand tools, but strong enough that it won't collapse once you've hollowed it out. It's basically the perfect material for underground construction. But even with the right rock, the logistics are insane. Think about it. You're not just digging a hole. You're carving out rooms, hallways, staircases, and shafts, all while making sure the structure doesn't collapse. You need to account for ventilation, water supply, waste removal, and defense. And you're doing all of this with ancient tools. No bulldozers, no jackhammers. Just chisels, hammers, and a whole lot of manpower. Let's talk about some of the engineering marvels inside Derinkuyu. The ventilation system of the most impressive features is the ventilation system. There are over 50 ventilation shafts running throughout the city, some going as deep as 180 feet. These shafts brought fresh air to every level, preventing suffocation and keeping the air breathable. And here's the genius part. The shafts were also used as wells. Fresh water could be drawn from the lower levels and distributed throughout the city. So the same system that kept people breathing also kept them hydrated. The rolling stone doors, remember those massive stone doors I mentioned? They're circular like giant millstones, and they weigh over 1,000 pounds each. They could be rolled into place to block off tunnels, and once sealed, they were nearly impossible to breach. These weren't just defensive measures, they were psychological warfare. Imagine being an invading army, trying to break through a 1-ton stone door, while defenders attacked you from above through small holes in the ceiling. You'd give up pretty quickly. The communication system Derinkuyu also had a communication system. There are small vertical shafts connecting different levels, allowing people to shout messages up and down. Think of it like an ancient intercom system. This meant that if danger was approaching on one level, the entire city could be alerted within minutes. It's brilliant. And it's all carved by hand. Part 4. WHY was it buried? So here's the big question. Why was Derinkuyu eventually abandoned and buried? Well, the truth is we don't know for sure, but we have some clues. By the 10th century, the region had stabilized. The Arab raids had stopped. Christianity was no longer persecuted. The Byzantine Empire had regained control. People didn't need to hide underground anymore, so they moved back to the surface. They built new towns, new churches, new lives. And over time, Derinkuyu was forgotten. Centuries passed. Dirt and debris accumulated. Tunnels collapsed. Entrances were sealed, either intentionally or by natural processes. And eventually the city disappeared beneath the earth. But here's the thing. It wasn't entirely forgotten. Local legends persisted. Stories of underground tunnels and hidden chambers were passed down through generations. People knew there was something down there. They just didn't know how big it was. And then, in 1963, that man knocked down his basement wall and rediscovered a lost world. Even today, decades after its rediscovery, we're still learning new things about Derinkuyu. Only about 10% of the city has been fully excavated and opened to the public. The rest remains sealed off, either because it's too dangerous to explore or because researchers are still working on it. And here is something wild. Archaeologists believe there may be even deeper levels that haven't been uncovered yet. The deepest confirmed level is the 11th, but ground-penetrating radar suggests there could be more below that. What's down there? We don't know. Maybe more living quarters. Maybe treasure. Maybe nothing. But the fact that we're still exploring a city that has been known for over 60 years tells you just how massive and complex this place is. And remember, Derinkuyu isn't the only one. There are over 200 underground cities in Cappadocia, many connected by tunnels. Some researchers believe the entire region is honeycombed with passages, creating a vast underground network that stretches for miles. Imagine that. An entire civilization hidden beneath your feet. So what's the takeaway from all of this? Derinkuyu is more than just an archaeological curiosity. It's a testament to human resilience, to ingenuity, to the lengths people will go to protect themselves and their families. Think about it. These people didn't have modern tools. They didn't have engineering degrees. But they looked at a mountain of volcanic rock and said, "We're going to carve a city into this, and it's going to last for thousands of years." And they did it. Derinkuyu reminds us that our ancestors were far more capable than we often give them credit for. They solved problems we can barely imagine. They built things that still amaze us today. And maybe, just maybe, there are still more secrets waiting to be uncovered. More chambers, more tunnels, more stories. Because if history has taught us anything, it's that the past is full of surprises. So what do you think? Would you explore Derinkuyu if you had the chance? Or does the idea of an 11-story underground city freak you out a little? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey into one of the world's most incredible ancient sites, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more mysteries to explore. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.